Hey guys, it's J Knight again, and I have some more commentary for my Testpunch session. This is session number 3, where I was playing Twintelle the whole time. This is actually the first time that I've actually played Twintelle against other people. I've played her in the warm-up, and that's actually about it. So it did take me quite a while. It wasn't really until near the end where I was really able to get a good grasp of her ability, but it is very strong, I will tell you that. So, good thing that I was able to start off with a slow match against Master Mummy just to kind of figure out what I wanted to be doing. I went with the Chilla and the Thunderbird combination of arms, just to have that curve arm and that straight arm, plus the combination of having the freeze and the stun is really strong, considering everything, that you can just make them super slow with the ice, make it so they can't dash or jump. And especially against Master Mummy, it's not super well known to most people that's exactly what ice does, but ice actually is very strong. What it does is, well, first, obviously, it decreases your movement speed, but you can't dash, you can't jump, and also, it pretty much disables all abilities, even. So, the characters like Mechanica and Mummy that get armor for doing things, they don't get armor when they're frozen. So, it's very strong against those characters. And, of course, the electric is very strong in general. Whenever you land it, you pretty much just get a free grab. So, again, both very powerful effects. So there we go. It's starting a 2v2. There's been a lot of people that don't really like the 2v2 format, and again, I would probably tend to agree that it is not very good because of the chords, just kind of limiting your movement options and ability to dodge things, and also just kind of incentivizing this kind of like close range grab fest thing, you know. Basically, oh jeez, we just get super comboed, 535, because we just like had to get into super close quarters there, and you know, like, ugh. Then I was just kind of tied to my partner, got hit by those dragons, wasn't able to go anywhere. But still, I mean, in the end, it is still 2 players versus 2 players, so it just in the end, how fun is it to kind of not have those mobility options available to you, especially in a ARMS, which is turning out more and more to be a pretty mobility oriented game, considering the strength of Ribbon Girl and now like Twintelle. Both have very good ways of staying in the air, while Ribbon Girl being a little quicker in the air, Twintelle protecting herself in the air with the slowdown field. But yeah, I was just, you know, I wasn't really trying the slowdown field quite yet. I didn't really know how it worked. I didn't really want to risk it too much. So, one key part about the dash, was it the Actress Aura? I'm not entirely sure what it's called. I'm just gonna call it the slow aura. But the big thing about the slow aura is that you pretty much are not able to be hit by arms, like arms themselves. You can still get hit by dragons, laser beams, and stuff like that, but you're pretty much not able to be hit by arms while that aura is up. Like, it slows them down to such an extent that they pretty much will not hit you. So it's something that you like want to have up all the time. And I didn't quite get that at this point. I was hearing things like people were saying that it looked slow, or it wasn't as good as you would hope, or something like that. But I don't know exactly what some of those people were talking about. Like, it's very, very powerful, and you'll see later when I start to use it a bit more. Again, I don't think I really ended up using Twintelle very well, so I'll just say that. If you're looking for super good Twintelle gameplay, you'll see a little bit. I mean, like, I did some good stuff, but I will probably not be playing Twintelle going forward. Not because she's bad, but because the way I play doesn't really lend itself to me playing her well, I would say. But besides that, I mean, I wanted to try out the parasols here, but I realized that, at least for the skill shot, there is quite a delay for the parasols actually going out, so I kind of gimped myself pretty hard there, and now I'm just getting, yeah, I just got stun throwed. I wasn't able to do anything at the end there. That was unfortunate. But yeah, Parasol is probably not the best pick for a skill shot, but there is an interesting thing about Parasol that came up in the Discord earlier that I will say. The interesting thing about Parasol is if you punch with the Parasol, I believe it's after your opponent has thrown their attack out, then you will repel their attack. I mean, I'm just gonna say that, yeah, we know that medium punches, which is what Parasol is, it is a medium arm. Medium punches collide with medium punches, and they both drop to the ground. And then it takes a little while for you to retract the arm. The special thing about Parasol is when you throw out the Parasol after your opponent has thrown out their arm beforehand, which is, I think is how it works. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty certain. If not, then it might be like proximity to you, something like that during like the beginning of the Parasol. I'm not sure, but what happens when you throw it out in reaction to somebody else's arm is instead of bouncing off of each other and both falling to the ground, the Parasol kind of just snaps back to you like immediately. So that means you can use it kind of as a, how you, it's kind of like you can block the attacks coming in while also attacking with your other arm. So you can have your Parasol with you, and then you can just quickly bat away medium arms and grabs in quick succession because of the like snapback property of it. It's pretty interesting, and I'm excited to see how people use it in the future. I think it's a pretty interesting arm because of that. Without that, it's a bit awkward to use, in my opinion, but that part of it makes it pretty interesting, as in you just kind of keep it near you, kind of like how you would, you keep one arm up in boxing, and then you punch with one arm, you keep the other one to protect your face or block or something like that. It'd be a similar thing where you're attacking with one arm and keeping the Parasol to try and prevent them from hitting you back while still being offensive. So it's like a offensive block, I suppose, is the way to look at it. And just over here, we are having a good amount of fun with Ribbon Girl. Those Slapamanders, those have a lot of push on them, so... Oh, and I accidentally hit the bomb next to me. But the interesting thing about the Slapamanders in the rush is that they have a lot of push to them, so if you block the Slapamanders, then Ribbon Girl's pretty likely to put you out of her rush range. I mean, depending on what part of the rush you get out of it on, you might be able to punish her with that, so I guess keep an eye out for those situations where you get pushed out of somebody's rush and they keep going.
Victoire.
So, oh yeah, so here we go with a bit of an interesting matchup. We got the Mummy and we have the Min Min. Well, the reason why I say it's interesting is that the thing about both Mummy and Min Min is they have really big arms. And the thing about those big arms is that it can be quite difficult to actually get around those, especially when there's so many in the air in a 2v2. I think that because of that, Master Mummy especially ends up being a bit stronger in 2v2, in addition to the fact that, you know, Master Mummy can just stand back and block, while when you throw, when his teammate throws the enemies, Master Mummy can just stand back and block the whole time. He probably heals like, you know, 60 health every single time his teammate throws the opponents. It's pretty solid healing. So here's me being the last one left against this Min. I have quite the health lead here. And then she has the dragons. I try to just kind of get her. And I keep missing my my arm because I try to auto-correct it, or correct it to the right instead of punching straight in front of me. But end up doing it with the rush. But I'd say that's probably one of the habits I need to work on the most. I tend to aim my arms a little bit too much to, like, the inside when I want to punch straight. So I end up just hitting around them instead of punching straight. I just need to keep in mind I don't want to hold a direction when I want to punch straight. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, this match is a pretty good match. It started off pretty strong. I got some good hits off with the charge arms. I probably should have went in and followed up on the chill, but you know, I was just a bit nervous with using the character. So I mean, I think this is pretty interesting. This player is using 2 dragons, which really leaves you susceptible to getting hits by a lot of options. The thing about dragons is that they're quite slow, unless you're like point blank. And I tried to rush in response to his rush, and that was really bad for me. If I had that rush, that would be much easier to get. But now we're even because I I tried to respond to his rush. Probably should have just dodged if I hadn't already. But now, yeah, now I'm not in a great position. He's pretty far away from me. What I should be doing here probably is... damn. What I probably should have been doing there is getting a little closer to her. I was staying at like the perfect range for the dragons, and that was a bit of a mistake. If you get closer to her, to the dragons, then it's much harder to aim them, as long as you don't get close enough for them to punch you directly, which you'd have to be very close for that to happen. So I should not have been staying as far back as I was. Probably being more aggressive would have been better. But alright, so here I kind of dropped I dropped the parasols. I'm not using those here. And like I mentioned before, I think the best strategy for these skill shots is a straight arm and a curved arm. And bonus points if the straight arm, something like the tribal or something that is really very wide. Very wide. You know, or like a megaton. But yeah, so... you know, I'm just trying to aim at them a decent bit while I'm attacking. You know, you get some bonus points for hitting them, which can really help you out. And we actually pulled ahead, because we had a pretty good round, and they were having trouble with getting hit. You know, so Ribbon Girl got hit as soon as the targets came out, so we got some really quick points right there. I think that's like the key. You want to time disabling your opponents, even for a brief second, like hitting them, because all you need is a moment to get most of the targets with a grab. As long as your opponents aren't contesting you, you can just throw out a big grab and get a ton of points. So we're looking at Springman, so he's using the Tri-Bolt and the Toaster. The Tri-Bolt is an interesting, it's definitely interesting on Springman. The idea being, you know, if you want to use stun, I suppose, or if you want to catch dashes, things like that. Though the real thing about the using Tri-Bolt and the Toaster is you don't have a curved arm. You know, the more and more that I play, the more and more people, you know, kind of juke around and get used to moving, the more important those curved arms really become. So I think it's super important to have a curved arm, or at least an arm that can catch dashes. I suppose it is true that Tri-Bolt can catch dashes, but then you are kind of relying on them being more on the ground because the Tri-Bolt is not that great in the air. So I would say probably just stick to one of those, the Toaster or the Tri-Bolt, and use the Boomerang, at least for Springman's default loadouts. And yeah, so I have a really good loadout here for hoops. Just freeze and stun. Well, stun just means you get a free grab, but freeze is pretty close to a free grab. Like, it's very hard to avoid the grab at that point. So I'm landing. I ended up doing a lot of hits in hoops just because. Well, some of these I'm just kind of accidentally not grabbing. For example, whenever I stun him with the bird, you do need to wait for the bird to come back. So I would just do the grab input before the bird came back, and I would just punch. But you know, it's pretty easy once you keep your distance and keep one arm to protect yourself from punches. That's really the best way to play hoops. You gotta play pretty passive. Here we go. So an actual fight, just kind of super brutal, these status effects, because you can really just kind of train people. Like, you can hit them with ice, hit them with something else, they get up, hit them with the electricity, throw them all around, and then either thrown, get a charge, they get up, just stuff like that. And especially with the actress aura, if someone tries to hit you, like, you know, when they get up, then you're just like, well, I'll just slow it down, dodge it, punish you. Like, Twintelle has quite nasty ability to keep an opponent locked down without her being super close to them. She can be at a pretty comfortable mid-range while controlling the opponent. And I think that going forward, Twintelle's default loadout is actually quite close to what I imagine you would want to use in the end on Twintelle anyways. So I imagine that as the meta develops, the default loadout, or at least her default arms, will be pretty common to be used with her. I would say that, you know, a lot of the characters, they do have arms that do fit their style, but I feel like Twintelle is the most in tune with her items. Now, this was a pretty rough fight. Now, I was really trying to learn how to use the actress aura. I was getting way too close. I'm a very aggressive player. This is why I shouldn't be playing Twintelle, because I get a little bit too into their face at the wrong times. You know, I'm just like, oh, actress aura will protect me, stuff like that. One thing about actress aura is, you know, it does take some time to activate it out of a dash. I would say like half a second to 3/4 of a second, or yeah. It's actually pretty close to a second. It's enough time that you would want to not be super aggressive with it, because your opponent can easily punch you out of your air dash. Because it is quite slow, it does not displace you very much with the initial dash. So because of that, you want to keep at a distance where you can comfortably activate the aura and play on your own terms. And being super up close isn't really that position that you want to be in. So we got a level 6 headlock here. I'm pretty sure I've only won against one headlock in this session here. Headlock was giving me a lot of trouble, and I gotta say, if I had some better time on these headlocks, and of course I'm that jerk that grabs during the rush. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm very good at these headlocks. Let's say I am not very considerate of my teammates, I suppose. But again, the freeze and stun, freeze and electricity combo against headlock is quite strong. Whenever you tag him with that electricity, you just go like bink, and then he's not disabled for as long as a normal player would be, but it's still like a little like a 0.5 seconds. You can't do anything. You know, you're pretty good. You're like, oh yeah, this is fine, kind of thing. And then the slow, slow is slow. It's quite strong. Pretty sure it disables his armor too, so that's quite powerful. If it doesn't, then, well, oh, what? What? Did I get hit by my teammate and I got out of rush? I didn't even remember that. Ah, whatever. Yeah, and then they both rush. Yeah. They were queuing together. That's hilarious. Just 4 beams. Bah! Death lasers. Big fan, big fan. Okay, so now we're going against a headlock level 7, and I have headlock level 7. The previous one was a level 6. Again, that previous one we had 4 dragons. I think if you just spam him down with dragons, headlock is not that big of an issue. Like, it'd be very hard for him to work through just a bunch of dragons. So I imagine that's like the min-max strat. Ah, damn. But in terms of people just, you know, using arms and stuff like that, man, does 7 have some health? Like, we're about to the halfway point here. And, you know, we're keeping decent pace, but it's kind of like at the point where we need to speed it up, basically, is the idea. And I think that's part of the reason why... Well, never mind. If he didn't have armor, he'd be much easier to kill. Never mind. But... And I'm just like, grab. Oh, but my teammate died. Ugh. See, you know, our teammate died. And at this point, I'm just like, whoa, we don't really have enough damage to actually kill him. And then he dodged. That's not great, either. So I'm just like, I'll try my best. Like, if we had one more guy, it's like, oh, wow. He's pretty low. And then it's just really heartbreaking. Because I just got my rush there. And I imagine if we had our last player, we might have been able to kill that guy, but... headlock, headlock, headlock! Giving me so many problems. Giving me so many problems. It's stealing my points, man. How am I gonna get fight money if I can't beat headlock? Never gonna be able to play ranked. I can't beat headlock. Gotta beat the Grand Prix on level 4. So, I just kind of do like a really silly strat at the beginning there. Just dash in. I suppose it says something about me as a player where I dash in at a ribbon girl as Twintelle, and I don't let her dash into me. Again, very aggressive player. I'm surprised I'm actually getting these air grabs. I've been having some inconsistencies with grabbing people in the air, so I was pretty happy about getting those. And here, you know, she grabbed me. And at this point, I'm like, she's probably gonna rush. And she does get me. I just didn't quite aim my arm good enough right there. I expected her to do the rush a little earlier, but I probably should have blocked just to play safe, I suppose. And I was really, you know, I was like, oh, really tense. Let's see if we can pull it out. And I'm like, oh! See, I do the actress aura, but again, at this point, I'm not very familiar with how exactly it works. So I just kind of sit there and they slap me in the face. The real thing is, see, you can just dash to the side and I would have probably been able to grab her and kill her. That's the sad part about it. I probably actually just had her there because she committed both of her arms to me. And here we got that mirror match. This guy was top of the lobby at the end. He's pretty solid player, Japanese player, I suppose, based off of the symbol to his name. Actually, I don't know if there's a Japanese. They don't look. I don't know that much about Japanese, but they don't look Japanese. I don't know. Whatever. They're probably Japanese, and I'm stupid. So I was just trying to like cover, and it was in this fight where I realized how the actress aura was and how strong it was. You know, I guess it just took me to actually go against a Twintelle that was using it, and I was just like, wow, it gives you a lot of time. And I was hoping to hit confirm there, but I guess I wasn't close enough. And then I was like, she's probably gonna try it, and then I just hit her with that. And try to go over top. At this point, you don't want to be too committing both your arms. And see, that's the mistake. I committed my arms, she hit me. And actually, I don't know, did I hit her with the bird there? I'm not sure. That's a bit odd. I don't know if I hit her with the bird. Because, here's the thing, I was trying to do a grab when I was in Rush in another video, and I'm not sure if that's like an actual thing. Maybe there's a way to cancel it, I'm not sure. But here, I grabbed, she misses me. I probably should have died right there, but see, we got that chip. We got that shield break. I mean, one thing I will say about, and then she gets that actress aura to invalidate my offense. Again, it's kind of like Twintelle, you don't ever want to have both your arms out against Twintelle. But yeah, like I was saying, maybe there's a way to cancel that rush. You know, I've been wanting to grab at some points during some of my rushes, because like they'll be blocking, I'll stop attacking, and I'm just like, oh well, I can grab them because they're probably going to keep blocking. You know, stuff like that. I think it'd be interesting. But yeah, as soon as I see this Ninjaro here, I'm like, oh wow, he's really stuffing me. And I'm just like, I gotta expect those jump grabs, so... yeah, there you go. I'm just like, I gotta hit this ball or something. There we go, bap. Doesn't really hit him, but... I thought that counts. And I'm just like, missing every punch. Ugh. See, I really need to work on my aim. I think that I'm gonna try out the motion controls again. I was thinking about waiting till the full game to like try them out, but I think I might just go ahead and try it again. Then again, I do also have that habit of holding inwards when I try to punch straight, so maybe that's just the thing that's happening. But I'll probably do both. And there we go. Yeah, again, aiming that bird or even the chakrams on the inside, you know, as in like if it's your left arm, you aim it to the right. That really minimizes the time it takes to hit your opponent. Let's see here. I'm just like, oh. You see, I didn't really wait for the bird to come back before I grabbed. I'm just like, And here I'm just trying the actress aura. I'm like, wow. Wow, the actress aura. I can just... And then you can see, this is where I was testing out the actress aura. I was like, huh, I can just do that. And of course, if I'm quick about it, I could actually do a grab instead of, and I just like dodge to the side. There we go. Bam. I don't know how that bird didn't hit her, but whatever. And there we go. It's like, yeah. And at this point, I was just like, how does Twintelle lose a V-ball? Or sorry, hoops. It's like, I don't know. And bam. I do like that the rush, and then you go, psh, I mistimed it again. I learned the timing later. I'm just impatient person. Just very impatient. That's a wrap. I don't really understand all the things that Twintelle says. It seems like some of the voice direction might have ended up being like, oh, you can use some English phrases in there, but you're also gonna say like some weird stuff that sounds like it's words, but it's not. Well, let's see. Yeah, there we go, grab. Oh yeah, so for this fight, I was like, well, if I can just use Acrosaur and grab, might as well, right? And this is the fight you really want to point to and just be like, do not commit both of your arms to Twintelle when she can dash. Like, it's just like, oh, wow, grab. Okay, see ya, bye. Like, Twintelle has all of the advantage while she has her Acrosaur out. And you do not want to challenge it. You do not hit her while she's in Acrosaur. And that's how I won with only grabs. Well, I mean, that's not something I would recommend doing, only grabs, but I mean, you want to be using Acrosaur almost as much as I was doing it in there. Again, I tried to do it again on this fight, and in this fight, you'll see when somebody only commits one arm, then it doesn't work every time. You know, when people space it out a bit more, you gotta be more careful, and it's like, oh, I grabbed. I didn't even aim that grab correctly. But point still stands. I was like, okay, I'll go to the side. My bird didn't hit. That was unfortunate. But, and then here I'm just like, ugh. I was about to block. But I kind of figured that if I was doing the charge, I would dash to the side of the arm that they punched me on, so that it was harder for them to hit me with the other arm. But you know, I was still having some trouble, kind of balancing, aiming her arms as well as using her ability here. But you know, we got some good damage, pretty even. And let's see. So she got in our rush. And let's see, she stopped, and I blocked. There we go. So, I mean, people have been waiting a bit, re-aiming their rushes. So you want to be careful. You know, if you're dodging a rush and you see them stop and it's not quite up, you might want to start blocking, or you might want to like stand still and like time your dodge, depending on the type of rush they have. Some are easier to avoid than others. But this was a very, very close match, but I believe I just barely get clipped here. Oh god, super close. Oh jeez. No, I didn't actually die. I can't believe I didn't get hit by any of those. I was almost certain. Well, even sitting here. Well, that was a very close game. It could have gone either way if the timer was a little bit longer, but she was beating me in the beginning, so I'm not angry or upset at all. And here we have a bite with headlock on him, and he's got guardians and what are those, hydras? Very weird weapon setup for Mr. Headlock here. I was like, oh no! I don't think that I registered that Headlock was grabbing somebody. Again, I think I might have spent a little bit too much time trying to be mobile and not enough time maybe actually doing damage. And I kind of screwed up everything because I threw during the rush. Though again, like I kind of just grabbed and it was in the middle of my grab that they activated the rush, so I didn't really realize, and I don't think I would have been able to steer it away. Bit unfortunate for everybody involved though. Okay, so we got that rush. We'll see if we can get it. And boosh, try to. The headlock rush does a lot of damage. Oh, jeez. that Guardian really saved him there. That would have been a lot of damage if he didn't have that Guardian. Ugh, I got hit by my teammate. I was trying to bird. I was like, okay, I'll save you. And, you know, we spent a lot of time in grabs. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of like, oh, I gotta save my teammate. He's getting grabbed. I'll grab him. It's like the only thing that'll interrupt him. But like, there's just so many grabs happening. It's like, he's really low. Oh, I hope we can finish him off. No. I mean, yeah, that's the super unfortunate thing. You like get that grab, you get that throw at the last second. Oh, it's like, oh, well, it'd be enough to kill him. Ah. I can't even see any green in his health bar. Damn it. And we lost. For some reason. Well, we have Min Min going with the double megawatts. Pretty interesting. For the record, I would not suggest doing double megawatts. For one, they're very slow. Megawatts are probably actually the slowest weapon in the game. I guess technically, besides the Guardian. But it's just kind of like so easy to punish. Like, well, you have one Guardian out, or you're throwing out a Guardian grab, which is quite slow. Just stuff like that. Or, what am I talking about Guardian? I'm talking about, Megawatt. But yeah. Yeah. It just takes so long for them to come back to you, and you don't have the advantage of a curve, that it just ends up being pretty unfortunate overall. I got a perfect. Sweet. Oh, wait. It was a perfect, okay. I was like, maybe I took some chip. Never mind. Yeah, had some fun with that fight. You know, just kind of like, at some points, you just stay in the air, stay out with Actress Aura, and you just kind of dodge everything. Not that Twintelle is unhittable, it's just you have to be very, very careful with when you throw a punch at her. Because if you throw a punch at her at the wrong time, she's gonna turn that into her advantage very easily. Let's see, we got, I keep getting hit by the arm. What arm? I don't even know. Oh yeah, the toaster, right? My bad. But yeah, that's fire damage. And then right there is an example of me trying to kind of slide to the side and just being restricted by the cord. I'm just like trying to dodge around, but just the fact that my teammate's an anchor point wasn't really making that. But you know, I was doing pretty well dodging these rushes regardless. It does give you enough room to dodge them. I mean, I imagine that there are a few rushes that would not be very easy to dodge, considering how wide they could potentially be. Let's see, we got our Min here. We got our rush. I missed. Oh no. Oh, I should have kept punching. Damn it. And then he's got his. And then, oh no. Oh, I dodged to the left. That was the horrible mistake. Yeah, damn. Just two misplays right after another. Pretty bad on my part there, but not too ashamed of that game. It was even. It was even. You know, I'm not going to be upset when it's like, oh damn, I lost because I screwed up and we were both very low. I mean, that just means it was a good game. Yeah, not that I had a very good performance at the end there, but you know, I'm not going to be upset. So one thing that I should be doing right here is probably just kind of charging whenever the things aren't out, because you know, if I throw out the bird, if I throw out the chill, that really messes with their ability to actually hit the targets. I was just trying to grab somebody before the targets popped up. Yeah. Not too much else to say here. Besides, I suppose this is good practice for the arms getter. For whenever we, well, we're gonna get the game June 16th, so I don't know what I was saying there. When we get the game. Yeah, it's a pretty fun game mode. A lot of people have been saying they really didn't like V-Ball in the previous one. And while V-Ball probably wasn't the most balanced, it was still I still found it pretty fun. I enjoyed it. But you know, I guess not everybody has the taste for just kind of like stupid things, you know. I just say, you know, V-Ball is a pretty stupid thing, but I enjoy stupid things sometimes. At least it's easier to win V-Ball than it is to win versus Headlock. Well, I'm sure it'll be easier in the next few test punches. I'm sure people will, and me too. I mean, I'm not excluding myself, but I'm sure it will be easier as people learn to improve against Mr. Headlock. Ugh. And here's where I do a counter, and it ends up working quite well. And we got a grab out of it too, so that's quite a bit of damage. Just go for that grab, bam. Again, grabs are very, very heavily rewarded in 2v2, but it's pretty important not to just throw them out willy-nilly. Of course, considering that you do have a second person to save you from those throws, you're going to want to hit those grabs at a time where the other person is kind of preoccupied or like not paying attention or something like that. And this is where I kind of feel bad for Mr. Master Mummy here. It's kind of just like Twintelle is so much better at getting grabs. Well, it's kind of funny, like, Mummy has the strongest grab, right? But he is probably the worst at actually getting grabs. Just straight up getting grabs. I mean, he is good at getting grabs because of his healing on block. Like, people will want to grab you, and then you can punish them with your own grab. So that's a reason why Master Mummy can be considered good at grabbing. But for the purposes of hoops, where you just need to maneuver yourself in a way where you can grab them, or you know, it's just kind of like Mummy doesn't have the mobility to be in the place or to like dodge as effectively as any other character, basically. So that's the bit of the unfortunate thing about having to do hoops as Mummy. The other day I was just playing Mummy. I was like, yeah, Mummy, and then I got into hoops. I'm like, how do I win hoops? My air dash is horrible. Like it makes me go like 2 inches. But enough of that. Here we got a Kid Cobra headlock. I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? It's a bit of a shame that those characters, at least their models, and I think they're in the title screen demo if you let it sit for a little bit. But it is unfortunate that Kid Cobra and Bite and Bark were not able to be played in these test punches. As for me, like I'm very excited to try out Bite and Bark when they come out. I'm intending to play them a lot, and I hope that they're better than everyone is expecting them to be. And I kind of think that's going to be the case, but we won't know for sure till the game actually does come out. And then I try to add some damage. Perhaps I think the better way to use Rush. Well, I think here it was good to use that Rush because the Rush bottle came out. But I think the better way to use Rush is you don't want multiple people on your team to use rush at the same time, just because of the it pretty much heavily reduces the damage. So you know, for the purposes of headlock, you probably don't want to use that rush along with your teammate. Like, we have one teammate down. I don't know if we can make it. Yeah, he's like, I'm just trying to punch him. Damn. Damn. So close. Yeah, I guess my my problem with a lot of matches of versus headlock is I guess not only does it come down to the timer a lot of the time, it's also kind of like, oh, we were going to kill him, but then the timer ran out, as in like we were in the middle of killing him and the timer ran out at that very moment. Just kind of like that makes it like feel really sore. And this guy's playing the Guardian style of a Helix. You know, I haven't actually played against Helix a lot, but you know, I'm a fan. I like Helix a lot. And when I was playing Helix, I was playing Guardian and Ice Dragon. Guardian and Blorb is interesting. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the Blorb, though I think it is a very interesting weapon. I guess I should be more specific and say that I do not like the Blorb when combined with the Guardian. Now, I know some people do like the Blorb when combined with the Guardian. As for me, I'm not a big fan. I think that Dragon and Guardian ends up being a lot better, in my opinion, just because it ends up being a bit easier to hit with the Dragon, as well as you know, a Dragon having either the fire variant for more damage, so you can get a lot more out of your poking, or the Ice Dragon, so that you can continue to keep that distance that you want to have with that Guardian Ice Dragon combo. It's really like either of those, I suppose. And of course the fire version does knock them back, so it does also help you keep the distance. As for Blorb, it does have that blind, and that can be pretty effective if, like, you know, you hit that Blorb and then you like activate Guardian at a weird moment to hit them, and then you hit them with a Blorb or something. Maybe you go for a grab, stuff like that. But in the end, I feel like the fire and the Ice Dragon end up giving you a bit more of what you want, as in some space when you hit them. I'd say I guess the big issue with using Ice Dragon is that you don't have a great way of hitting people in the air. For example, Blorb can be angled up a lot, so it can be good at hitting people in the air. So I suppose that is one of the downsides. Talking a lot, but you know, there's only so much I can say about going against Headlock. But I do enjoy hitting him with multiple electricities in a row. It is quite satisfying, I will say. Oh, jeez, I hit my ally. Oh, what have I done? Oh, I ruined everything. And then we just kind of, oh, team up. Got him. Yeah, I helped. Yeah. Oh, and then the session ended right there, as we won. Well, I'm happy for you guys joining me, and I hope that you guys had fun in the Testpunch too. If you're interested in seeing some more commentary like this when the game comes out, you know, for some rank matches or things like that, then leave a comment telling me that. And, you know, I gotta get ready, you know, the 20 minutes, the next round of Testpunch begins, you know? Gotta get ready. So I'll see you guys later. See you guys in ARMS. Have a nice day and have fun playing ARMS.